love you. Teen Witch is a 1989 American teen fantasy comedy film directed by Dorian Walker. The movie is about Louise Miller, who finds out that she'll be receiving magical powers on her 16th birthday, starring Robin Lively as Louise Miller and Mandy Ingber as her best friend Polly. I was so lucky to have a chat with Mandy Ingber, the actress who played Polly. She shared some behind-the-scenes gossip about the movie, and we also discussed the infamous Top That rap scene.
Yes, it was very much a surprise. I mean, that movie was a very low budget movie. I can't remember. There's facts out there, like I can't remember how low budget, but it was a very low budget movie. We had dressing rooms, pretty small dressing rooms, but then there was like, when we worked at the school, we all I remember walking into this room that was supposed to be my dressing room, and it was like, it was a class, it was a classroom. There were like papers, like all over the floor, and I was just like, this is my dressing room. So we would the cast would hang out together, like sort of collectively. Like I used to give like massages to Dan's character, Brad. Yeah, I would give massages, and we kind of would, gossip, and we didn't know that, Dan and Lisa, who are played Brad and Randa, they actually like fell in love during the movie. Yeah, but I think that their first date was like right after the movie, and so there was like that going on, and Robin was really young, and she'd never really kissed anybody. And so that was a big deal. And of course she had a crush on Dan at that time. And, so it was like all those little things. And plus, we were that age too. But, yes. But anyway, so we were that age, and it was kind of fun to, be just all our relationships, dynamics. It was really fun. And we all had a really, really great time doing that movie together. I was surprised because I thought it was just going to disappear. I don't even remember there being a premiere of the movie, but I went to see the movie in Hollywood with two of my girlfriends. It was basically three of us and a homeless person, in a movie theater that's who was there in the movie theater. So I was like, okay, whatever. I will never see this again. And, then it went to video. There was no such thing as cable or Netflix or the internet back then. So I wasn't expecting it to live on forever, but then there would be just another wave of all these like young girls that would look at me. It was like at first the girls were like 9, and then they were like 19, and then they were like 30, and then it just keeps coming. It's like an ocean of people that keep just coming back. It's like this thing that just doesn't stop. And my joke to Robin is with top that is that I think that her amulet, her spell actually worked. It's the only explanation of why everybody is so into that one scene, But anyway, yeah. So Teen Witch, and it's the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, I have to say that when I after I did it, I didn't think very much of it, of all of the jobs that I've done. I definitely didn't think a lot of Teen Witch, but it's the one that's lasted. Like, I think that of all the things that I've done in my life, that Teen Witch is going to be one of the main things that people remember me for. So many different ways, like, because I've done other things I think if that was the only thing that if that was where it stopped, I think that it'd be sort of like depressing, because I think that having something so, it was iconic in its way. Sort of, I always talk about it like it's as if I won the low hand. It wasn't like I was Meryl Streep. It wasn't my broad, I've been on Broadway, and I've been, I have done that, but it's not my Broadway moment. It's my sort of like cheesy, classic moment. That's the one, right? So I think that if nothing else happened after that, that maybe it would be hard to have something I did so long ago be the highlight. But, Robin also points this out, that there's so much joy that we've been able to bring through this movie. And I love connecting with people. I did like something with Glamour magazine, because in my next sort of incarnation, then I became this well-known, celebrity fitness instructor. And I did something with Glamour magazine, and they, Glamour, you think of Glamour, it's a beauty magazine and Glamour. And they were like, oh my God, Teen Witch. And would you mind doing us? And it's like, wow, okay. It all comes down to Teen Witch. And it's like just this universal thing. So I think that I just love the connection it brings me with others. And I mean, I met a guy that I really, I met a guy that I have had a relationship with, because I went to do a Teen Witch appearance, and when I used to have classes, people would come to my class and they'd be like, oh, just, and it's like, yeah, did I tell you to come to class? So it's just, there's always like a connection that I have with people based on this movie being out there. So I think that's really what my takeaway of it is, that I love the connection it brings. You just never know who you're affecting or who you have affected. And so for me, it's a good reminder, The process, I mean, I had been an actor by the time I got Teen Witch. I had been an actor for, I think, like 7 years, or 6 years. I was 20 when I did that. And obviously we played younger, we played these teenagers. So I auditioned, and then Teen Witch was, I got a script and I read it, and I didn't think, that much of it. And I went and I auditioned and got the part. But one thing that definitely I did not know when I got the part was that the rap was a later addition to the movie. So I didn't know when I read the script that there was going to be a rewrite where I was going to be doing this rap. So I already was in the movie, and it was like, oh, and you're doing this rap. And it's like, oh really? Oh, and my character likes that other character, Rhett. I didn't know that the whole time that I was shooting it, So, but anyway, that was the process. And so, I mean, it was just a very typical, you go in, you read for producers, and they decide if they want you. Sometimes I think that for me, as an actress, it's very fulfilling to play things that are maybe dormant parts of ourselves, that are shadow parts of ourselves. I like that I had a place to express being that one, the one that gets pushed aside, or, I've had times when I've played the sort of the smart mouth, whatever, sort of the bitchy, the bitchy smart mouth one, or, it's being sort of a character actor, it gives you a place to express that, and, to sort of get paid to be pushed around or whatever. It's weirdly empowering, to portray it is empowering, and, yeah.
Out of all the musical numbers in Teen Witch, Top That is definitely the most talked about and has had quite a few reenactments.
Supersonic, idiotic, disconnected, not respected. Who would ever really want to go and top that? Such a waste, a pretty face, but hanging in your nose space. I wish that you would take a look and really stop that. Top that. Well, stop that. I don't really give a about trying to top that. Top that. Stop that. I wish you finally take a real look and really stop that.
What's this?
Stop that.
What gives?
Stop that. I don't really give a about trying to stop that.
Top that.
Big deal.
Stop that.
Unreal.
You can try to, you blue.
I will make a fool of you.
Top that.
top that.
Supersonic, idiotic, disconnected, not respected. Who would ever really wanna go and top that? Such a waste of pretty face.
Supersonic, idiotic, disconnected, not respected. Who would ever really wanna go and top that? Such a waste of pretty face, but hanging in your nose space. I wish that you would take a look and really stop that. Top that. Well, stop that. I don't really give a about trying to.
Supersonic, idiotic, disconnected, not respected. Who would ever really wanna go and top that? Such a waste of pretty face, but hang it in your no one face. I wish that you would take a look and really top that. So stop that, top that. I don't really give a about trying to top that. Stop that, top that. I wish you finally take a real look and really top that.
Supersonic, idiotic, disconnected, not respected. Who would ever really wanna go and top that? Such a waste of pretty face, but hanging in your nose space. I wish that you would take a look and really stop that. Top that. Well, stop that. I don't really give a about trying to top that. Top that. Stop that. I wish you finally take a real look and really stop that.
I know. Yes, I have seen that. I've had some time to look at that since 2018, and I did Google it, and I've seen a lot of those. I've seen a lot of the reenactments, and it's what I said earlier. It's like I wondered, like, why, like what is it about that scene? Why do people want to reenact it? It's not just something people watch. They want to reenact it, and I just think that it's in part. It's because, like what I said earlier, it feels like you can, like I mean, I like watching them. They're fun to watch. And it amazes me that I created something that so many people want to recreate. I like that because I think that's why people might relate to my character too, because I'm the one that never actually, I don't really transform. Like in that one moment I do, like I have that song where it's just like all of a sudden, but it's not really that cool. And I think that's why a lot of people relate to my character, because it's relatable, you know what I mean? And it's like, and I think also what's accessible about that rap is that I don't do it well. And so like anybody kind of feels like they could do it at least as good as me. You know what I mean? And so I see people trying to emulate it and do it. It's like they have the guts to get out there and try it. And I think that might be why, it feels accessible. I mean, my clothes were pretty drab, I mean, if you compare, like my wardrobe was very drab. And I actually used to because I used to wear in the 80s, when I wasn't doing that movie, I was wearing Betsy Johnson and, I was wearing mini skirts and black lace and, leather beret. And I was, I was dressing, bandeau top and whatever. I was doing the 80s, but I was looking sexy, what I thought was sexy back then. Then when I did the part, it's these really drab, this hat that's on top of my head and this really drab, dresses. And, Robin really, her style was different. She had the crinoline skirts and really cute, it's she got to wear the pointy toe shoes and the pumps and, that was different. I mean, that was very of the time, and I think that she created a lot of those costumes. I think that she and her mother actually created a lot of those costumes because it was pretty bare bones budget. Yes. But as far as my costumes went, how I would feel about it was sometimes the camera guys and some of the crew would say, "Oh, that's a cute top," or "I like your hat," and I would be like, "Really? This isn't my real look." I would feel all offended. It's this isn't my look, guys. This is my character. But so, and when you look back. I don't know. This also that's kind of funny. There's in the top that scene, I'm kind of wearing a really short kind of tennis skirt. Like I have like the hat on, we're riding the bikes, and I'm kind of like, by the way, I had no handle over that bike because it was like an old bike, and I'm like going side to side, like I can't even handle that bike. And then I take off the hat, and all of a sudden I'm in this like tennis outfit, I guess. But so I don't know what to say about the outfits except for that. I am, I grew up in the 80s, so that's my time period, right? So I love those fashions. I love that look.
Outside of acting, Mandy has built an extremely impressive career for herself as a yoga and fitness instructor.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Aniston, and Mandy Ingber is my dear friend and my yoga instructor. She brought yoga into my life, and it completely changed my life. It's one of the most fun workouts I've ever had, and I'm just really excited for you to get to experience her.
Sometimes when I'm really stressed out, I just have to unplug, take everything off of the plate, and sit in meditation. But first, I gotta burn off some energy.
She's also produced the extremely successful DVD titled Yogalosophy, and has also written a book under the same name.
Life is a process, and everything's not just like black and white kind of thing. So, but what I will say is, yes, I am a person that has I have very healthy habits in terms of like I do daily self-care. And so, like in 2018, that meant like I couldn't move at all, but I would get up and I would do like a 5-minute walk and then 15-minute walk and like that, like sort of was in a healing process. But during the pandemic, I've gone to some older workouts that I used to do when I was a kid, actually, 14, which there were a couple of teachers that I liked that used to teach online, like this guy Jalad, I think he was this Israeli guy that would do like these cardio workouts in the 80s, like in Hawaii. And so I went back to some of these old workouts that I used to do when I was like in my teens. And there was also this one yoga instructor that I used to take in the 90s, Brian Test. And so I went back to his videos that he, put out there in the 90s. So I've been like kind of going nostalgic the same way we're going nostalgic right now. I've been going nostalgic with my workouts sometimes. And I've done a couple of class events, but primarily I have been like everybody else, which is sort of unable to like go out and do, go out into the world and do the work that I've been doing.
I would like to say a huge thank you to Mandy Ingber. This interview was so much fun. Teen Witch will always be one of my top 10 favourite movies. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Top that.